AMC short positions, surreptitiously purchasing Citadel liquidations, and more are covered in today's film. First, we examine this in this video. The recent rise in AMC short interest is shown well in this figure. The yellow AMC pricing peaked at $211. The shorts in that time were all under $211. Shorts only profit if the $211 price holds and they buy low. If they hold those shorts and the price exceeds $211, they may race to buy due to unrealized losses. First, a heads up before we continue. My opinion is that the short interest we are looking at is merely for one batch of float that has been shorted at $211 because the true short interest and shorted shares are much greater. We know the float has been sold to us 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, or more. So I suggest that the short interest we're looking at is limited for one group of shorts. If we can get the price above $211, it's still bad for them. This is valuable data for us since it demonstrates why they're afraid about AMC rising. Say they have a short position around $2 or $211. You know what? Around this level, we noticed the price rise, which is why they were afraid. The short interest rose to 24.22% because they needed to suppress AMC. We witnessed short interest double in a few days. This modest surge was enough to make them nervous, and they needed to make sure the price didn't keep rising because they know how rapidly AMC's price can rise if they do nothing. When they're not suppressing AMC with 70–80% dark pool, constant spoofing, constant FTDs, and constant tokenizations, they know AMC can go up 10%, 50% easily in a day. So they suppressed it, and the price fell because they knew that even if it went above this small level, 211, it would put them in the red for just that batch of shorts. When we count shorts, the number becomes even more. You must comprehend no AMC shorts closed. Credit Suisse and Melvin Capital would not have folded if closed. Since AMC survived, losing holdings are being rehypothecated and more established for liquidation. One of the main reasons I think AMC shorts haven't closed is that if they have, we won't witness all that happens with AMC if its price rises. This refers to the constant publications that compare AMC to stocks they shouldn't. If they don't include AMC while discussing the box office, we won't see the many dark pools. Industry average shouldn't be 70/80%. We recognize AMC when we see it. Having tokenizations for AMC and GME, but not other stocks, these are the reasons I think AMC shorts haven't closed. So companies like Credit Suisse have suffered. You must comprehend this, which is why I believe they have never closed and why we see things like short interest doubling and a batch of shorts sold at 21.11. This is a large amount. 33 million shares moved. 24 million never touched the lit market. And I assume they've never closed because of AMC's ongoing use of dark pool. The fact that we're looking at 12 times the AF exchange stock volume than NYSE tells you a lot. It reveals a lot about this market. Market manipulation and repression. It's also not surprising given what one of AMC's largest shorters is doing. We saw extended hedging positions across various funds in Fintel data. These trades appear to be hedged for a big AMC surge upwards. Short sellers have recognized they can't escape, which is why we see the dot pool. They'll never defeat apes. In order to protect themselves, they can buy an AMC. When they acquire AMC, they attempt to avoid raising the price, since they have to buy big quantities. They're buying tens or hundreds of millions of AMC. Under typical circumstances, this will raise AMC. They know if AMC rises 10%, 15%, 50%, it would attract too many investors. It would draw too many investors who know apes will keep onto their stock. The best thing they can do is acquire as much AMC as possible without affecting the price, while releasing articles trying to urge others to sell and avoid AMC so they can discreetly stockpile. Right now, they're doing it. So we discussed how the media and everyone else are quiet about AMC's institutional ownership. They're quiet about AMC's dark pools despite many buy orders. This is because institutions don't want people to recognize they want to acquire AMC. We're witnessing another huge thing about a dark pool spike. Certain institutions may liquidate. First, we have SEC statistics for the first half of 2025. We witnessed this surge here. The last time we witnessed this enormous rise was when Credit Suisse began to crash. So we knew Credit Suisse skyrocketed due to hazardous AMC and GME swaps. If we use the same logic as the spike we saw, institutions imploding, in this case Credit Suisse, and we're looking at another institution imploding potentially due to the same reasons the TOC 2 swaps off AMC and GME, or just holding on to these TOC 2 short positions. It's no surprise that this may happen. Looking at potential synthetic shares, I believe there are about 40 billion AMC to cover, which cannot continue forever. I won't elaborate because everyone has their own interpretation, right? The number of synthetic shares is unknown. There could be 40, 50, or 20 billion. We've seen tokenizations and FTDs, so I'm not disputing this. I'm saying we'll never know without the complete facts. We know it's likely in the billions and very high. With that in mind, if there's a $40 billion dark pool and corporations need to cover or can't contain it, what we witness with the gold and silver markets may easily happen to AMC, which is why we talk about corporations being liquidated. It may happen to GME. The transfer of trillions of dollars from AMC to GME might happen instantly. Banks worry about AMC because of this. Banks are worried about GME, and more importantly, short sellers of these stocks because shorts can go into infinite losses. That's what they're trying to prevent. Which is why we talked about the 40 billion, but more importantly, why we talked about this. Dark pool spike that hit a new all-time high. 944 billion Australian dollars leveraged Japan carry-forward trade margin call would be unfortunate for Citadel. Michael Bird discussed the Japanese 30-year bond yield. We have discussed this on this channel for a long time. You should now understand the significance of this and how unsafe it is and why it could implode at any time. So the market could explode, as Citadel has said before. This has a huge connection to Citadel. We know Citadel may fall easy. As we've discussed with the DA pool, Citadel is suing the Consolidated Audit Trail, which allows regulators to identify illegal, manipulative, or disruptive trading activity in real time. The CAT system is being sued. The CAT system should increase market transparency. We had discussed the Japan trade, but now we're looking at the fact that they're suing something that gives openness. Why are they suing? Why dislike the CAT system? Who's because when a market transparency mechanism is implemented, corporations who earlier used all of these strategies fail. So you know we're seeing this. We're looking at that because it makes sense. Silver went over 115 today, which is important. We'll only see silver prices rise due to the market's worry. The recording shows silver prices at $118. Gold is also extending this momentum. Gold crossed 5,300 today. Another market-changing factor? This matters because silver prices are rising. When gold prices rise, so does AMC. That's important for APEs and AMC investors. Second, because banks were caught off guard. Thus, they lose gobs of money. In addition, gold's monthly chart shows a catastrophic financial catastrophe as currency depreciation stares us in the face. We discussed the dollar index. It's quite low. The gold and silver charts are at record highs, while the dollar is falling. Thus, this foreshadows future events. In addition, the CME hikes silver futures margins from 9% to 11% of the notional value. We discussed this earlier. We discussed why short sellers suffer. We talked about how this may easily raise it. We mentioned this when it was announced. So you can see how this will affect the price and possibly accelerate silver prices. Another major change. UBS stops dealing Chinese silver funds. As we witnessed, UBS might potentially be caught on the wrong side and lose handsomely. In addition to being influenced by silver prices, they have held on to harmful AMC and GME swaps for a long period. The fact that this is harming them should also indicate that they may be forced to cover SW positions. This is also significant. In Shanghai, silver prices are $132, which supports my prediction that they will rise. We've discussed this leading signal. If you still doubt me, see it. We've predicted why silver will rise and discussed this many times. SLV's closing-only contract series is another big issue. You will see this as taking away the buy buttons about what happened to us for AMC and GME. And you will understand why they're doing this, because we know. Finally, BIS says that JPM, Citi, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, MS, and Welsh hold nearly half of global OTC derivatives at $846 trillion, a record high. This is something you should consider, and it points to why I think a bank or hedge fund could blow up when they're this hazardous. Always, financial advisors take souls. Own research and diligence?